Okay, 6 o'clock.
Good evening. This is the monthly meeting of the Marin Valley Mobile Country Club PAC Board meeting. And I'd like to call that meeting to order. And I'd like to call for approval of the final agenda.
I'm sorry, John, Jay, can we do the round of introductions really quickly first as a,
Fine.
you know, how we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, my name is John J. Shelfer. I am the current president, and the current vice president is John Hanson, and the current secretary is Carol Joy Harris, and the current treasurer is Steve Closure, and Vicki Waddell is our current
Member at large.
well, member at large, but more than that, she is our playwright.
I was about ready to quit today. Too many changes. We're gonna get there though.
Okay, so having gone through that for our attending audience, I'd like to call for the approval of the final agenda.
So moved.
Motion. I'll second it.
Any
Sure.
comments or questions?
I'll second.
Call for approval of the final agenda. 5-0. And the portion of the meeting now is devoted for public comment. Any resident or even general public who would like to make a comment, we'd like to allow them 3 minutes to have their voices heard, and any information or any important factors, it will help determine whether we include it on our agenda next time or what actions we might be undertaking in the future. So are there any public comments? Ellen Jane. Ellen.
You're muted.
Unmute.
Surprise. Yeah, two things. I guess Terry Beausejour, is that how you say your name? Beausejour, is not on the call, but she'll hear the minutes. And I just want to give an extreme thank you to her, because I have never seen my comments recorded so accurately and with the whole flavor of the way I spoke. So tremendous thank you. I mean, historically, that has not been the case. So like, wow. And also, the last couple times I went into the clubhouse, the thermostats were both set below 70 degrees in the fireside room and the library, and turned off completely in the ballroom. So hooray, somebody's getting the message. So thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, I'd like to move on to the consent calendar, and we've all received the minutes of the October 4th meeting. Are there any comments or additions or corrections to those minutes?
I move to approve the minutes as submitted to the October 4th meeting with no changes.
I'll second.
Any comment? Okay, any comments from the resident? We've already heard from Ellen. Call for approval. All in favor of accepting those minutes? 5-0. Okay, now moving into the reports. As you probably know, you may not know, Matt is out on medical leave in a moment. He had a medical procedure and he's recovering from it. And he's recovering from it as expected. And we're hopeful he'll be able to return soon to Marin Valley Mobile Country Club. He is working from at home, and he is answering phone calls and texts and emails. So if there's any urgency, please contact Matt through his email, or he'll get messages from the switchboard. He did report on a few things. One, that he's finished one of the, where the contractors have finished one of the retaining walls, and currently the staff is working on trimming all of the bushes along the park, in the gutters and around the street signs. And that in the preparation for winter, they're working on cleaning out the ditches and the storm drains. So hopefully when it rains, the water will end up down in the field behind Club View rather than in our homes. So that's all the comments that Matt had for today. Any questions? I'm sure Matt will hear about them. So questions or comments? So moving on.
Jay?
Let's
Jay.
hear. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, Jay, was there any update at all on the pump station?
We had heard from the Chris Blanc that what they were hoping to do was to get an auxiliary pump alongside of the pump station, so that in the event of a failure, it would be able to pick up the load. And that will remain until the actual work is started, when all the material is on hand and when the weather permits. In other words, they don't want to start digging up and removing equipment if it's muddy and not very stable. So the procedure on the first pump station too was that they put in a auxiliary pump to function while they pulled out the old one and put in the new one. So evidently they're planning on putting in that auxiliary pump earlier before they actually start the work, and that will give us a backup to that pump station. But when that'll start, I'm not sure. I've got calls into Chris Blanc and the engineering staff that oversee that, and I'm expecting a reply. And I'll let you know as soon as that occurs, in the sense that I'll pass on that information to you, John.
Well, thanks, Jay. And I understand too that, yeah, they've had quite a problem over the last while in getting their parts and their materials together. So that may still be a scramble in that respect too.
Right, but I think one of the big factors right now, according to engineering, is that they don't really want to start when the rainy season is. So they're going to put in that assurance of that auxiliary pump first, and then tackle it when the weather is clear.
Great.
I have a question about that. Is that going to increase the projected cost? Because, you know, we got that grant or from the feds at a particular estimate for that project. Is that going to increase that?
Yeah, I understand the question. Again, part of the contract would be to put that auxiliary pump in place while the work is being done, because they have to have that auxiliary pump actually functioning while they take out the old pump station and install the new one. So it's essentially the same thing as they did on the first pump station, but they're beginning it early by putting in that auxiliary pump in first. And that should be covered by the grant from the feds.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so moving on, Steve, can we have your report of the Finance Committee?
Yeah.
No, it's as the PAC treasurer first, sorry,
PAC treasurer. I just
on
wanted
the
to
agenda.
say a few words for people who might be new in the park and don't really know how everything works. I am not the treasurer for the park. That is handled by Matt and the management company and the city of Novato. They do all of the bill paying and money handling and bookkeeping. I am simply a commentator once a month on what I think of where things stand as far as budgets and that kind of thing. So I have training and that's my profession. So that's my role on the PAC board, but I don't prepare all the numbers. So the treasurer's report, our petty cash account is still at $2,453. We rarely use that. Actually, I wrote 2 checks in September to reimburse Anila for some internet payments that we make. And I think prior to that, I made a payment a year ago to her for the same thing. So, and these are small payments, $120 or something. So not a lot of activity there. Most of our PAC board expenses get paid by Matt through the park accounts. We have an annual budget of $4,000, and that's for our fiscal year, which goes from July 1st to next June 30th. And at this moment, we have spent $1,000 of our $4,000 budget. So we're pretty much right on budget as far as the portion of the year. Nothing big going on there. Now I'm the chairman of the finance committee, and here's where I just kind of analyze the financials for the park. And most people are always concerned about the DSCR calculation, which has to do with our profit compared to our debt service. The only real time where that is important is at the end of our year. And I say that because quite often we spend a lot of money on tree trimming, brush removal, tree removal, especially in the most recent years because of fire prevention and preparing for possible fires. So even that's true this year. We spent a lot of money in June, July, and August, and also September. So that distorts our budget. And so our DSCR, according to the financials right now, is only at 0.91, the way I calculate it. We like it to be over 2.0 by the end of the year. And it very likely will be, because Matt and the city work very carefully to put that budget together so that it will be above 2.0, and they follow it all through the year and when they're deciding on spending money. Okay, so once again, as of this date, on brush trimming and fire abatement, we would have spent $67,000 per the budget, but we've actually spent $263,000. So that'll get moderated as we go into the winter, and don't spend any money on that, hardly. So by next June 30th, it should all come out just fine. Questions?
Thank you, Steve. Any questions from the board? John?
Yeah, Steve, I'd like to modify your preamble a little bit, and that, yeah, you're more than just a fly on the wall with a calculator. You have made a significant difference in the past in helping the city to see the fallacy in their ways in calculating the DSCR, and probably saved us a rent increase one or another year. So yeah, I'd like to acknowledge you on that, and just let people know that you're there keeping an eye on things and watching what's happening, and it's a very important role.
I'd like to add something.
Yes, Vicki.
Steve, I think it's great that you explain this to people that are not used to reading this analysis. So thank you for doing that, especially for the new residents. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Caljoy, you had your hand up? No? Okay.
No, that was a clap.
Oh. Okay, moving on. Receiving a report on the update on the 2x2 meeting that Caljoy and I attended. As reported, Chris is working with us to keep us informed as to what's going on with the new pump station, and I will keep my eye on it and report further. Hopefully we'll see some action down there before the next meeting. I don't have any else to add to the 2x2 meeting. Carol, do you have anything? Caljoy?
Actually, yes, we did receive word back from Chris Blunk about a subject that had been brought up long ago, maybe a year ago or something, but these things take time with the city. And that was the possible use of the by park residents of going in and out of the park via the
Meadowview.
where we abut with Meadow Park.
Meadowview.
Am I
yeah.
saying it right? Meadow Park, Meadow
Bay Vista.
Meadow Park, the Bay Vista, thank you.
Community off
Which is
Meadowview.
part of Meadow Park. Okay, and so Chris Blunk said, okay, we'll research that, and that research did get done. And he got back to us recently saying there is no easement. Basically, no, we can't do that. The idea was for us to be able to go in and out of the park if people wanted to walk or ride their bikes somewhere where it's more level and we don't have to climb the big hill in and out of the park via the main entrance exit. And the answer is we can't really, we don't have an easement. So yeah, we heard back on that.
John Hanson?
Yeah, just, as a corollary to that is the, not just people going in and out of the park there, but, it's about maintenance of the roadway and the area there as a emergency evacuation or a secondary evacuation route. And if we don't have an easement through there, then nobody then is right now is available or supposed to be maintaining that. Access roads like that are supposed to be maintained by fire code. And so we need to then go to the fire district and ask them about how are we to maintain the the vegetation on either side of that road. The big issue, as far as I'm concerned, is that the one fire that we did have on September 30th of 2016, we were unable to use that as an evacuation route because the fire was sweeping over the road, which is exactly why we need to clear out to at least 10 feet, and usually it's like 30 feet along there, along either side of that evacuation route. So at any rate, I will get together with your hubby and see how we should approach the fire district on resolving that.
For clarification, John Hanson is referring to my husband, Bill Davis, who is on the board of directors of the fire district.
A corollary to that, John, when he explained that to us, the results of them doing a search on the property to see if there was an easement, it didn't seem to have any effect on it being used as an emergency exit or for emergency vehicles. It's just that we couldn't use it as a passageway, but we didn't get into, and you make a very valid point of the maintenance of that. So we certainly will mention it the next time we visit with him.
Okay, it really is a fire district issue anyway. That's where the code is, probably not within the city. They would have to go to the fire district anyway.
Good.
I just want to insert here that there's two pathways or roads that we're talking about. One is the fire road. The other one is people wanted to be able to walk across or somehow get across and go into a man gate right where it's level, kind of at the bottom of the Bay Vista property. And people were talking about going in and out that way. So there's two different things. There's the fire road, and then there's this other kind of access where there was a gate and then it was locked and then it wasn't locked and now it's locked. So that one is the one that I think they're saying absolutely not.
Yeah, that's
Fire
right.
road is a whole different subject. I just want to clarify that. Okay.
Okay. For clarification, in other words, the fire road that Carlger is referring to sweeps along the ridge line there. It's not, it also is that same road that people might be able to walk in and out of, when we've been told now that it wouldn't be available for that. So we're talking about two separate roads, but the road that is evidenced by that gate or approached by that gate is a emergency exit and is a fire road. And there is another fire road that goes along the ridge. Is that correct, John?
No, there's just the one road that goes, it goes from Meadowview. There's one gate. A few feet later, there's another gate, and it kind of curls around over to Bay Vista, and where the third gate is. And I think what Chris said is that no, we do not have a right of way through that through Bay Vista.
Right.
But I guess it's still questionable where what the situation is with the with that little fire road that goes from here to there. The thing is that in an emergency, trumps everything else anyway. So with that, it is an emergency exit, irregardless of who owns it or what the right of way is. And we need clarification from the fire district on maintenance of that. I would prefer we maintain it ourselves. It's just as easy for us to do it while we're maintaining everything else around the park.
Yeah, except for the fire district will never say that if it's their purview, and also let's let them pay for it.
No, no, they won't do that. It's not that the fire district, it's not their right of way. It's the code is that we have to maintain it. Whoever escape route it is, they have to maintain it. But if we don't own the property or have a right of way through the property, then that's a bit of a conflict. Yeah. And so we need the order basically from the fire district to resolve that.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Feld.
Just as a point of interest, the fire department has that road marked as an escape route for our community, but they do on their map that they provide say that it is a locked gate. But they recognize it as an escape route.
Thank you. Any other comments? So let's move on to project
I have
plans.
my hand raised, Jay. It's Ellen Jane. I have my hand raised.
Where?
Um,
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. So there's no two roads. We're just talking about that one road with the two gates, the big gate,
Correct.
and then is there now there's a third gate down at the bottom at Bay Vista? There didn't used to be. So.
Oh yeah, that's always been there.
Oh, you mean a gate just that you could walk through, just no vehicles could get through, that kind of gate?
No, it's a vehicular gate.
Right, not like the chain link. Yeah, okay, not a chain link, right?
Yeah, there's three vehicular gates. The
Thank
kids
you.
climb over one of them. Everybody walks around the other two.
Right. Thank you, John. Yeah, just trying to picture it. Thanks.
Okay, again, we'll go on with project planning for myself and John Hanson. As a general comment, we're still waiting a reckoning from the city as to the amount of reserves that we will need to maintain for their projected appraisal of the replacement of the infrastructures on the park. Once we get a handle on that, then we will be able to move forward, perhaps some of the projects we would like to work on. John, do you have anything?
Nothing more. That covers it.
Any questions about that? So let's move on to John Hanson and the MVS Firewise Committee.
Okay, yeah, we're still doing this about the same thing we were last time. Last month I reported on the progress we'd made on the emergency management plan revisions for all the different kinds of incidents that we would reasonably expected to possibly have here. And we've finished now the power failure, wildfire smoke, high heat, domestic fires, and we now have a draft of the medical emergencies, part one. There's two parts of the medical emergency. The first part is based on the assumption that the emergency management system is fully active and accessible. In other words, you call 911 and they're there in a few minutes. Part two then is on the assumption then that they aren't immediately available. And so that part we have not done. So this actually not coming Monday, next Monday, the 14th, at the next FS meeting, then we will be discussing the medical emergencies part one. Then after that, we have we still have the earthquake earthquake emergency management plan to go, which is the major one. And then there's a few others, include wind, public health emergencies, rain, and crime. When those are all done, then we can shuffle those together and distribute our resources and plan our implementations. All of this is in response to meetings that MVest had this last June. And we had decided then that we needed to revise the entire management program for MVest. And so that is exactly what we're doing.
Okay, thank you, John. Any comments? Carol Joy? I see a hand up.
No,
There's a little one hand up, or is that a clap?
That's a one hand clapping.
One,
neither one.
all right, anyone else have a comment that we'd like to hear from the board or from residents? Thank you, John.
Mhm.
John Hanson, report from HOL.
John Phil, how about you do it?
Okay, I'm John Feld, not John Hanson. Once again, we have our monthly meeting tomorrow in the fireside room, and we're very happy to have everybody come and participate. So there's no hot topics because they all come up tomorrow, but we've got a few things that are going on. We've got a new person who's going to be handling just 1 hour. Marlene has been doing it for several years and has passed the mantle on to Lisa Jackler, who's taking it over. And they've already started swapping information, and that will be happening as of tomorrow, I think. We have a trash collection on Saturday, which is where we can take everything to the dump, and you need to inform Ed Collins by text or email, not on the phone. And that should go just as planned. I think he's still looking for a couple of volunteers if anybody wants to volunteer to help.
Donations.
We have, oh yeah, we're also always accepting donations to pay for this service because we have to pay at the other end when we take it to the dump. We've just had our fundraising drive for the last couple of months, and we now have money back in the yard maintenance program because we did a joint fundraising for the HOL and for the yard maintenance. And we're starting that up now, but we're actually looking for additional gardeners. So if anybody has suggestions, we would gladly hear them. And the person who's organizing this, of course, is Peggy Hill, who's doing a marvelous job. We are organizing a play, the HOL, another play, a musical this time, which will take place in the spring of next year. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And they're looking for singers and non-singers. So if you're feeling the need to exhibit yourself, please contact Janie. Janie is the person. And of course, Vicky is writing the play. So as we heard, she's the famous playwright. And she will be doing a lot of work between now and then. We have taken on, the HOL has taken on the decorating of the Christmas tree in the ballroom and in the foyer, because the major shift in that was Larry Moore, and he is on a medical leave, I guess. And so HOL is going to do that. And if anybody would like to participate and join us, please get in touch with me. We also have our first, maybe annual home decoration competition to see who can do the best holiday decorations in and around their homes, around the homes from the street. And that will be judged by some of the HOL board. And I believe that there will be a caroling part of the announcement of the prize winners, and Carol Joy is going to be participating in caroling for that.
The deadline is December 2nd.
And Irma's telling me the deadline is when?
December 2nd.
December 2nd. So that's it pretty much. Please come to the meeting tomorrow. It should be fun. They're always fun. And it's in the fireside room. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Carol Joy?
The caroling, the annual caroling party will take place again this year. It will be in the fireside room, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the home decorating competition, but it's always fun, and there will be an announcement in the Echo.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, sure.
Mhm.
Any other comments or questions to John Feld?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Marvell, is Carol Corey around?
I'm going to report on behalf of Carol and Corey.
Okay, thank you.
Renovations for the bar are almost complete. There's 3 new refrigerators have been delivered and should be installed this week. Spotify is soon to be added to the ballroom, so that music can be played through the current speakers. The bar looks terrific. We now have 9 certified responsible beverage servers, with 2 more expected to be certified in November. Black Cat is Marvell's only fundraiser for the year. It is intended to provide funds to cover the annual cost of our liquor license. The event was successful, and Marvell's liquor license has been covered for the coming year. Thanksgiving dinner will be November 19. The holiday party is December 17, and New Year's Eve is December 31st. Please sign up early for these events.
Good, thank you, Vic. Any other comments or questions?
I just add that the renovation of the bar is terrific. And I would say it definitely raises the bar.
Well thought out, John, well thought out. All right, so seeing there's no old business or no new business, the determination for the next PAC board meeting will be held hopefully on Tuesday, December 6th. Is there any objection or changes necessitated for that? Or we're planning on being here for the 6th? Seeing none, we'll have the next board meeting on December 6th. And thank you very much for attending. And
I,
see one hand, I see two hands, I see.
I was going to move to adjourn, but maybe Irma has something else.
I just wanted to comment in case you're looking for your echo. The printer needed parts for their printer and ink,
Oh,
and the parts have finally come in, so it's way overdue, but I have started printing again, so it should be here soon, hopefully.
wow.
It's on the internet though.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
always accepted on the internet.
Okay. And so now I move to adjourn.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Yep, Vicky seconds. All in favor?
Adjourn.
5-0. Adjourned until December the 6th.